Hey everyone, how are you doing today? I hope you're having an absolutely wonderful day. It is time to update my Shop My Stash. I tend to do this about twice a month where I go through my products and pick out the items that I would like to focus on. This month I have a little bit more of a more tight filming schedule, so I think I'm only going to be able to film this one time this month. So I'm actually going to pull quite a bit of makeup this time. Before I get to all the stuff that I'm pulling, however, let's talk about the stuff that I used last time. Oh, also tea of the day. I'm pre-filming a little bit, so I've already filmed a video today, so I'm still drinking the same tea I was drinking, I think, in the last video you guys saw, which was my haul video. This is from Den's Tea, the Hojicha Gold. It's a roasted green tea. It is a very toasty flavor, but it's not smoky. Really, really flavorful and really, really wonderful. But I'm also feeling a mite peckish, so I'm sipping on some Campbell's soup. Okay, the products that I will be putting away. My Essence Pretty Natural Hydrating Foundation. I think I've been wearing this in almost every video for the past few weeks, so this is a foundation that I really like for filming because it's not glowy. I wouldn't say it's fully matte, but I do like it very much for having a not quite so glowy base while filming. I also used my Tower 28 SPF 30. The more I use this, I realize that I do prefer my Korean BB cream SPF type products like my Misha BB cream, the one from Purelisse, the one from Yensa, but I still like this one. I'm going to continue using it in my rotations until I finish it. And my MAC Studio Radiance Face and Body Foundation. This was way too much for me last summer. I was like, man, I accidentally bought something that's way too glowy, but now in the winter, this is very nice to wear on an everyday basis to just have something that's really a little bit more glowy, a little bit more hydrating. For highlight, I had pulled out this Maybelline Perfector 4-in-1 Glow Makeup. I actually wore this by itself one day and it was actually quite pretty. I wore it all over the face and it wasn't nearly as bad as the first time I tried it. I really do think it must just be the products that I'm using it with, because the first time I tried it, it was way too glowy, just way too much, and this time was actually just more subtle. Still glowy, but not quite as bad as it was the first time. This is a pretty product. The lightest shade is a little bit too dark for me, but since it's such a sheer product, I can make it work. For a powder highlight, I had pulled out this little Mary Luminizer. I'm happy to see a little bit of progress there on the top. This was new to me this year. I like this one. When I wear it, I tend to really buff it in and kind of get it super polished looking, and I like this. It's very pretty. Lip glosses real quick. This one from Almay. This is the Goddess Gloss in the shade Mystic. I'm actually wearing this today over a liquid lipstick. I was worried it might be a little bit too sparkly for my taste, but actually I like a bit of sparkle in my gloss, and this one it's really nice. I enjoy it. I had rolled in these two clear glosses that were both have like gold shimmer in them. This one from Dew Tube and this one from Trust Fund Beauty. I do prefer the Trust Fund Beauty one. It feels a little bit more hydrating, a little more thick and cushiony on the lips. The gold sparkle in both of them is pretty subtle, so it mostly just looks like a clear gloss. Blushes, I had used my MAC Glow Play blush in the shade So Natural. Every time I use this, I love it more. It's got this perfect tone where it's not too peachy, it's not just plain beige, it's not pink. It's got just a really good nuanced kind of color to it that just works so well with neutral looks. Or sometimes I might be wearing a more bold lip and I just kind of want neutrally cheeks. It's just so pretty. I use a stipple brush with this and I love it. I had used also this little stick blush from Floss. I specifically rolled this in because I was going to be doing a little bit of traveling and I wanted to pack as few brushes as possible. This is really easy to use with just your finger. It's super melty into your cheeks. I would just draw a little bit basically there and just kind of tap it out and boom, I was done. So this worked very, very well for that overnight trip. I enjoyed it immensely. I have the shade Sandals. And then I had also worked in this powder blush from Dome Beauty. This is one of my oldest blushes. I got it a very long time ago, probably back in 2019 in an Ipsy bag. This is the shade English Rose. You can really build this up. I think I wore this in my 80s video where I really packed it on and it was a lot brighter than I've ever worn this blush before, but I also just really enjoyed the tone of it, just brushed gently over the cheeks. I think it is so pretty. It's lovely. I enjoy this formula. It's kind of velvety. It's very nice. Okay, now to eyeshadow palettes. I had rolled in this little cutie from I Heart Revolution. This is the Rocky Road palette. So I have a friend who gave this to me And she also has this palette, so we decided that whenever one of us was gonna wear this palette, we would let the other person know so we could twin that day and basically send each other selfies of the different looks we created with this palette. So we did do that one day. I decided to use this green, this dark kind of hunter green in my outer corner and put this bright pink all over my lid. I'll put a picture up of my look. But my friend also, I asked her if I could use her look in the video to show you what she did with this palette. She said I could, so here is her look using this palette. She stuck with the kind of purple and burgundies, and of course her look turned out beautiful as well. This is a fun little palette to play around with, especially since I do it with my friend. So thanks again to my friend for this palette. The main palette that I have been wearing for the past 2 weeks was this one, the Lorac Unzipped, and holy smokes, I could not stop wearing this. These are my tones. The shade that I was the most worried about not working for me was the shade Unbelievable, and actually that's the shade that ended up working the best for me. I thought it was so beautiful. I'll put up all the pictures I took of the different looks I created with this. I feel like in my selfies, a lot of the looks ended up looking pretty similar to each other, and it's the truth. I mean, we got, you know, a definite type of look going on here with this palette, but I was really happy with every single one that I created. With every single look, I used both of these mattes mixed together in my crease, and basically I just switched up which of these shimmers I put on the lid. I was not tired of using this palette. I love this one. This has got to be one of my favorite purchases of the entire year. Loved this one so much. Now, I didn't mention this actually in my last Shop My Stash, but I did decide to pull out one more palette to use. So I've used this little Natasha Denona 5-pan. This is the Ayana palette. This is actually the one I'm wearing today. I did manage to use this to create 2 different looks. For today, I used this in my crease, this on my outer corner and on my lash line, and this shade all over my lid. And for the other look, I created I just used this in the crease and this on my lid. Very, very simple looks, but I really liked them. I was really afraid of the mattes. I'd heard that they were very pigmented, and they were pigmented, but not terrifyingly pigmented. I found I could actually work with them, unlike some Anastasia shades. So I think this is a very pretty palette. I enjoy the green look I was able to create with it, and I'm happy I was able to work another palette into this rotation. Okay, let's talk about products I'm gonna be pulling out. Let's start with base products first. So I'm going to keep my MAC Studio Radiance foundation out because, first of all, I like using it in the wintertime, but I'm also mixing it with a concealer right now to try and use up that concealer. So as long as that concealer is in a project pan, this will be staying out. I'm going to pull out my Believe Beauty foundation. This is the one that I'm wearing today. Like the Essence, it's one I like to wear while filming because it's not so glowy. It's got more of a satin finish, so really enjoy this one. I have the shade Ivory. And I'm also going to pull out my Misha BB cream. I have been craving using this. The skincare in this really does something for my skin, so excited to pull this out again. Oh, I forgot to mention this primer. So I keep forgetting that I own this. This was given to me. It's a little mini sample of the Stellar Brilliant Primer. I don't think this is a brand I've ever heard anyone talk about before. It says Stellar, and then it says a name, Monica Diol. I don't know if it's the owner of the brand or what, but this is another like illuminating type primer, and it's a light pink. So there it is, just kind of on the end of my finger, but I noticed it's definitely very silicone-y, but it's not too intense. You can see there kind of the pearl that it gives the skin. I'm really interested to try this finally. I feel really bad. It kind of got lost in my stash. I don't have that big of a stash, and yet I forgot about this. So if I like it, I might target this to use it up next year, but I will see how I feel about this little thing. Another highlighty type product, I'm gonna pull out my ColourPop Lunch Money. I love the formula of this. And I feel like it's a beautiful, oops, I just swatched that over that primer. There we go. I feel like that's such a beautiful, beautiful highlighter. And then I'm also going to pull out a powder highlighter. I'm going to use my Nabla Skin Glazing in the shade Ozone. Every time I'm just like, oh yes, I love you. Just watch it right there. Oh, it's so, so pretty. Can't wait. Okay, let's talk about blushes real quick. If you saw my haul, you'll notice that I purchased quite a few new blushes, so I'm gonna roll all of those in. I want to try them. So I have the Rare Beauty Little Melting Moment. Is that what it's called? Not Melting Moment. It's just so cute. I call it like the Polly Pocket blush. It's so cute. I have the shade Nearly Neutral, which is kind of a rosy neutral shade. From M Cosmetics, I have the Heaven's Glow blush in the shade Venetian Rose. Oh, that's so pretty. From Tower 28, I have the Beach Please blush in the shade Magic Hour, which this one is more of like a dusty rose color. With perhaps a little more warmth than a typical dusty rose. From Beauty Pie, I have the Super Cheek blush in the shade Bear Blush. Oh, that's so pretty. More of a little berry tone. And then I have a blush from Almay. This is the Healthy Hue blush in the shade Nearly Nude. This is a baked blush. I'm really, really interested to try it out. It looks so pretty. So these are 5 new blushes to my collection. I want to play with them. I want to spend time with them, figuring out my favorite way to apply them with different brushes or fingers or whatever. But since I will not be able to film another one of these in the month of December, I feel like at some point I'm going to want to reach for the rest of my stash. And when that happens, I'm going to try and have a goal of using a different blush every single day. Now that my project pans are coming to a close, I want to do that before the new ones start up in January. And I just want to kind of rejoice in my collection. I have a beautiful collection of blushes that I enjoy very much, so I'm kind of excited about that actually. Okay, let's talk about eyeshadows. Let's talk about cream products for a minute, because I'm going to roll in quite a few of them. So I want to roll in this little potted eyeshadow from Burt's Bees. I have the shade Rose Cream. I got this on the recommendation of another YouTuber, and I have to admit that the first time I tried it, I was really sad. It just looked like nothing on my eyes. It is a very, very soft, glimmery, gentle type of shade. So that's what it looks like. And I've got pretty heavy swatch here on my finger. So I want to give it another chance to see if I can find a way to like this. Because like I said, the first couple times I tried it, it looked like nothing on my eyes. There, it's looking much more pretty. It gives me hope that I can find a way to build it up without making it look odd on my eyes. So that's kind of on the chopping block. I'm also going to roll in this Revlon Color Stay in the shade Chocolate, which is a newer shade to me. I had this in my haul I just posted. I'm going to roll in another potted shadow. This one is from MAC. This is the shade Vintage Selection. I cannot talk. So pretty. It has been a while since I've worn this, so I'm excited to give it another shot. Beautiful taupey color. Now this next one, I broke my own rule this several months ago. In fact, I'm thinking like 6 months ago or something. I bought this cream shadow from Ulta Beauty. I have other shades of this, and I saw this one on clearance and I snagged it. I really like the formula, but I broke my own rule because I put it into my collection without trying it first. And I don't like to let myself do that, because then I forget about products, and that's what happened with this. So this is in the shade Bubblegum. It might be a discontinued shade, honestly. I don't think I recall seeing this to buy again, but these shades are very moussey and really pigmented, but they work really, really well actually as eyeshadow primer. Now that I finally finished up that eyeshadow primer, I've been working in a project pan. I'm loving using different things as eyeshadow primer. And look at that pretty color. For some reason, I had it in my mind that this shade was a much brighter pink. So anyway, looking forward to finally trying this. Again, from my haul, this KVD Dazzle Stick. These have been getting a lot of hype. I purchased the shade Flash Storm, which is a beautiful, wet looking, sparkly, yummy goodness. Look at that there. Ooh. From Beauty Pie, the Stick Shadow in the shade Brazilianaire. It's kind of like a taupey bronze, that shade right there. And then I'm going to roll in one that isn't new. I have used this before. This is from Sydney Grace. This is the shade Cliff Jumping. Sometimes I just think about a product, I'm like, I have to roll that into my next shop my stash, and that's kind of what this product was. I've just been kind of craving using it. With these shadows, you use the tiniest bit and they will spread very, very far. They are super pigmented, and this is another like taupey type shade. I mean, look at the shades I pulled out. Oh, isn't that yummy and wonderful? Cannot wait to play with all that creamy goodness. Okay, and then for palettes. So since, again, I'm not gonna be able to film another one of these for quite a while, I'm gonna pull a whole bunch out. We'll see how many I get through. When I'm pulling out a palette I haven't used before, I like to try and use as many of the shades as possible before moving on to the next one. So this is the Tartelette palette from Tarte. Sorry, not the Tartelette palette, the Tartelette Juicy palette. This is a bigger palette than I would normally purchase for myself, but I love the tones in this palette. Cannot wait to finally use it. I'm also gonna pull out Tartelette in Bloom. So many shades in here that are right up my alley. I know I'm going to enjoy using that one. I have a bunch of singles from Sydney Grace that I purchased in recent sales. I'll put up a picture of the swatch I did of these. So many pretty shades. Once I have used the shades, I will put them into my collection. I have a couple of these Profusion palettes in my collection that I haven't tried yet, so I'm gonna pull this one out to try. This is the Bare palette. It's mostly mattes with just a few shimmers. While I have swatched this palette, like I said, have not tried it on my eyes yet, and I'm very excited to understand what the hype is about with these palettes. They do swatch beautifully, and after all the positive reviews I've heard of them, I am intrigued. Lastly, I'm also gonna pull in my Persona Identity palette. Very, very interested to try out this formula as well. Okay, lips. I have a lot of lip products. I don't know, I kind of feel like just letting myself reach for whatever in this last month of the year. I might do that, but I do have a few for sure that I want to pull out. So this one from Revlon, this is gonna be on the chopping block as well. I know I like the color of this, but it's the finish. Oh, the finish, it gets me. So this is one of the super lustrous lipsticks in the shade Smoky Rose, but it's in the pearl finish, which I just tend to not enjoy these kind of frosty lipsticks like that. But I love the shade so much, and look at that. And I really do like Revlon lipsticks. The formula is beautiful, but I wish it didn't have that shimmer. I'm gonna give it another shot, see if I can make it work, which I hope I can. I also want to pull out this little mini MAC lipstick in the shade Twig. It's so small, it's so cute. This is, I believe, like a satin formula. It's been quite a while since I have reached for this lipstick, so happy to pull that out. I'm gonna pull out this gloss from Fenty. I'm not a huge fan of the regular Fenty gloss bombs. This is the shade Ruby Milk. I like the formula, but I don't like the scent. So I have given away most of mine to friends who like them. They all were like, oh yay, they loved them, which made me so happy. I kept just one. And this is a shade I really want to reach for currently, so that will be good to get some uses on. I'm also going to pull out this sparkly gloss from Kaleidos. This is the Lucid Lip in the shade Dramatize. It's mostly sheer. It looks kind of crazy in the bottle, but it's mostly just sheer. You can see, but it does have that really pretty sparkliness going on in it. And I like the formula of these two. Plus the packaging is kind of heavy. It feels nice. It's been a while since I have pulled this out from Kaja. This is the Heart Melter Moisture Melt Lip Gloss Stick. It's one of those products that has the little clicky spot on the end and then pushes the product out, and this has a little heart shape on it. It's super cute. This is the shade Honey Bun, and I feel like it's such a pretty shade. These are way more pigmented than I expected when I purchased them. I expected kind of a sheer lip gloss formula, kind of like something like that, and no, they're very pigmented, but yet still melty and emollient and beautiful. Okay, other than that, I think I'm just gonna let myself pull out what I want to, and then maybe whatever I do pull out, I'll just share with you in my update in January. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you again very soon in my next video. Bye!